Well, you're almost done. This is the third and final support and training video for the CompCalc Plus 2019. My name's Richard Montalvo, and I'll be walking you through advanced tips and techniques. This is intended to be kind of a fun video to show you some of the ways in which the CompCalc can be used and some of the tap touches that you may not wouldn't otherwise know exist to help you use the CompCalc as a rating and indemnity tool for workers' compensation in the state of California. Let me begin by stating that the CompCalc Plus is an estimator, not a calculator. All information and data provided to the user of the CompCalc should be reviewed and verified by a competent workers' compensation attorney and or the Disability Evaluation Unit, the DEU. It's not the intent of Richard Montalvo individually or the law offices of Richard Montalvo to create an attorney-client relationship or to provide legal advice or analysis to any user of the CompCalc. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Once again, we're going to tap on the icon using a Windows 10 iPhone. Again, the Droid version of this will have the same features and functions, although the user interface will be slightly different. I'm going to tap on that. We go into the opening screen and then right into the rating module. I'm going to clean that out, clear it out. And I showed you how to do that in the rating module. What I did was I just tapped on the whisk broom and up came the confirmation to do away with that. The first thing, we're going to take this module by module. But the first thing I want to demonstrate for you is that we did not go into the restore feature. I'm going to go ahead and restore what you saw our rating was in the rating with the CompCalc video. And that's the Robert rating. It's a multiple string rating. The first thing I want to show you is that the CompCalc, this is kind of a joke, is ADA compliant or FEHA compliant. If you're like me and have to wear reading glasses now, those rating strings are pretty small at the bottom. There's a couple of ways to be able to see everything. First of all, the inputs, you can use the pinch feature to enlarge it. I haven't shown you that, but it allows you to enlarge it so you can see exactly what you're... Now, I wasn't able to do that on the rating string, so what I did was I developed the ability that if you take your thumb or a finger and hold it down on the rating string that you want to see, it will bring it up so that you can see it. And I'm holding it down individually on each of the two rating strings, and it enlarges it and prints it to your screen. And all I'm doing there is, right now I want to enlarge the back, which has 80% apportionment, and it pops up. I want to highlight the upper extremity, it pops up, so that I can read it without whipping out my reading glasses. Kind of a neat feature. I put that in myself just to help me, but be aware that that's there. So you have the pinch feature on all, and you also have on the rating module the ability to enlarge just an individual rating so you can take a look at it. Okay, let's move on to the permanent disability rating module. Now, I went through this in some detail. The one portion that I didn't discuss is how to do the COLA calculation. I've rolled that up to 100%. Once again, we see that unicorn, because if they're 100%, you've done that unicorn out there. The first thing we're going to do is to do a present value analysis is we're going to put in the date of injury. Second, we're going to put in the age at first payment, 60. Next, we're going to select gender, and we're going to say it's a male. Now, of course, if he's 100%, that's TD rate given the date of injury paid throughout his life. So we're going to often they are not max TD given the date of injury. So what we're going to do there is we're going to put in his average weekly wage for a max or for less than a max TD rate, and that's going to be $1,000. Okay, that's his average weekly wage. That occurs with some frequency. Now, one of the things I want you to understand is there's not enough room for me to show everything on an iPhone. So if you put your finger just above your thumb, just above the age at time of payment up in the upper right hand, and just pull it up, you're going to pull everything up so that now you can input on the bottom features. I know that's a little bit of a hassle, but that's the only way that I could do this with all this information. We'll see that also on the life expectancy. I'm going to go ahead and roll in 3.5 and a 1.5 on the present value. Now I want you to understand what this is calculating. What this does is it takes, given the life expectancy of a 60-year-old at first payment, 60-year-old applicant, male, assuming an average weekly wage of $1,000, the value of this case with a 3.5 COLA inflation rate and a PV discount rate of 1.5. And understand how I wrote this algorithm. The 3.5 is applied up to each one of the payments, and the 1.5 then reverses and is subtracted out coming back. And you'll see two numbers here. You'll see the future value. The future value is without application of either the COLA inflationary rate or the PV discount rate. So if you just paid him based on his life expectancy, a 60-year-old male, TD based on an average weekly wage of $1,000, it would have a future value, all those payments, of $1,000 based on his life expectancy of $747,384.69. But when you apply the PV COLA calculation, the PV, although it discounts, doesn't overtake the COLA inflationary rate, so you have a net increase of several $100,000 to $931,625.33. Now, one of the things I want you to understand is that as somebody ages, their life expectancy reduces, and as a result, you're not going to see a substantial increase in the PV COLA calculation. Okay? You can see I also provided you with the PD in terms of years, and that essentially is life expectancy for a male at 60. Okay? So that is the COLA calculation of 100% when you roll it to 100%. One of the new features this year for 2019 is the export feature. So you've got all this information. How do you get it out of your phone? You don't want to write it down or type it up. Well, once again, you see the box with the up arrow, the export feature, in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to tap on that, and you can see we can, just like with the rating, you can save, restore, print, or email. I'm going to go ahead and set it up for an email. And let's say this is Robert again. And we can put in a social security number. We can put in the date of the report that we based it on. We can put notes in there. I'm going to tap on in the upper right-hand corner the envelope to email it, and it automatically formats everything. And there's your COLA calculation and value of it. Cancel out of that. Okay, so that's the COLA calculation for PD. Now, one of the other things that you'll see, tap for details, and I didn't go into a lot of detail on this, but what I've put here is information relevant to wherever you are. For example, I discuss the Launder, Guzman, and Ogilvy. I discuss some of the information and labor code sections that are applicable. And it's essentially a summary of some of the information I have in my book. Now, to get in or out of tap for detail, it's always the X. Whenever you tap the X, if you see it on the screen, that's always going to bring you back one screen. The next advanced tip and technique that I want to go through with you has to do with the date calculator. Now, I went through this on basic features and functions, but one of the things that I want to stress is that you have to start out to calculate a TD period. You have to start out with the correct date of injury on the opening TD screen. Then when you go into, because here it won't let you go back. It's always going to keep you to the date of injury because you're calculating, obviously, TD forward. Okay? And everything here I've already gone through. Of course, you've got the flip for the dates and the weeks. I'm just tapping on that. The average weekly wage can be modified. It assumes max if you don't put in average weekly wage. And I also want to note that the calculation includes the start date but does not include the last date. Okay, let's look at the COLA calculation. We have not looked at the PV COLA calculation for life pensions. Let's take a look at that real quick. This is more complex and it requires some instruction on this. The first thing that I want to do is I want to pull this whole screen up so you can see everything. The rollers to the upper left-hand side, just below the X, are the percentage. So I'm going to roll that. If you pull it down, you can see the full screen. And what I'm doing here is I'm putting my thumb on the area that says PV discount rate, compound rate, in the middle of the screen. And I'm just going up or down so I can see and move it. There's just not enough real estate here to put all this on one screen. Okay? So 87% is our percentage award. The date of injury is 2016. The applicant is 65 at first payment. And on this, the applicant is a female. We're going to go with max for average weekly wage. And what I want everybody to realize, let's talk about how life pensions are paid out over time. The way that you pay them out is first you pay out the PD until it's exhausted. So you go to the money chart and you pay out the PD. Then you pay out the life pension for the life of the applicant. But here we're estimating the value for settlement purposes. So the algorithm is pretty complicated. What I have to do is I have to realize that I'm going to apply the PV of the PD to discount that. So that's going to actually reduce the PD given my PV discount. That's the first line that you see. So the future value, the actual value of the PD over time, is in this, given these parameters, and I want to modify, well, we're going to leave the COLA inflation rate at 4 and the PV discount rate at 1%. The future value of the PD for an 87% award given a date of injury of 2016 is $204,522.50. But if I'm going to settle this case, my client's going to want to take a discount rate on that, reduce it. I've reduced it by 1%. That reduces it over the payment period down to, over 13.53 years, it's going to discount that, reduce that down to $193,613.51. So that has to be paid out first. It's only after that that we're going to pay out the future value of the life pension. The future value of the life pension, given the life expectancy of the applicant, and the life expectancy of the applicant in terms of years is just over 20 years, but we're going to pay out PD for 13 years. That means that we are going to only have 6.77 years left paying life pension. The life pension, based on a maximum, or based on the 86% award, the life pension, given that life expectancy, is $73,733.87. Now you're going to see the COLA and PV calculation, it actually goes down because of the applicant's age. When you apply the PV and the COLA, it's actually going to be less. And that reduction is due to the fact that we're paying out 13 years of PD. And so the PV COLA calculation is actually slightly lower. For it to actually increase, you'd have to be up around 6% for it to be greater. And of course, if we zero out and we just apply a 6%, or let's say we just apply no PV with 4%, it's going to be about $82,000. But realize the COLA calculation, the way I wrote this, is the COLA calculation doesn't take effect until the payment is due. The PV calculation, because we're talking about settlement authority, the PV calculation takes effect during that first 13 years. So I'm reducing that. That's why the COLA calculation isn't substantial when you look at these numbers for a 65-year-old person with a life expectancy of 20 years, where they're going to receive PD for 13.53 years. What's the total value of this case? The total value of this case is only $286,972. Now, you would think an 86% award would be higher than that, but it's because the applicant is only 65 years of age and only has a 20-year history, and essentially he's going to receive PD for almost all of that period of time. What happens, though, when we change the age to 30? Watch this. Now, all of a sudden, it jumps up to 1.162, $1,162,000. Huge difference just based on the age. Let's say now that we're going to have 3.5, let's put some realistic numbers in here, 1.25. It's still at $753,000, and you can see all the numbers have increased just because the life expectancy is 52 years. Makes a huge change in the algorithm. Okay, so now we have all this information, and we want to export it. Again, we can save it. And of course, it's telling me I can't store it. What I did just now is I hit, instead of hitting the X to exit, which is what I wanted to do, I hit the floppy disk to save it and said, hold it, the applicant doesn't even have a name. You can't do that. I'm going to hit the X and go back. Now I want to mail it, and watch this. So we're going to put in Robert again. Great name, huh? And here, it just formatted my email again, just like it does in the rating module and in the COLA calculation for 100%. I'm going to delete that draft and go back out. Okay? So there's a couple things I want you to take away here. Play with these numbers, and you'll see how it changes just based on the age of the applicant, which is obvious. That's the way it should. Also, it's going to change based on your PV modifier and your COLA calculation. Last, I want you to remember that if you put your thumb on the PV discount rate area of your screen, you can roll up or down so you can see everything that you're doing. Okay? I'm going to hit the X and go out of that. Again, I want to go to support and training because we need to make sure that everybody knows that basic features and functions, rating with the CompCalc Plus 2019, not 18. This is the beta version that I'm using here. Advanced tips and techniques. Those 3 videos are on there. I'd love for you to write a review or visit our website or both. Okay, that completes advanced tips and techniques. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to get a hold of me. Of course, if you type in about and go to montarvolaw.com on this and just tap on that, I want to show you that too. It takes you to I'm up at my ranch and I have Dish, HughesNet, so it's a little bit slow here. See the difference? This is why you don't want a web-based program. You want something that is available all the time. And look at how long that took me to get to the website. Okay? So we're going to go back. Okay, let's exit out, and we're back to our main screen. Okay, that concludes advanced tips and techniques. Hopefully you're using and liking the CompCalc again. If you have any questions or comments, please, any comments, send them to me. You can call me directly. Just go to our website. You can get my direct phone number. And I do pay for great suggestions. Okay, thanks so much.